Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Going to be doing things a little bit differently this month and have my TBR come out before my wrap-up. Let me know which way you like that. Do you like a TBR before a wrap-up or a wrap-up before a TBR? To me, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, but I know some people like it one way more than the other. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about my December reading plans. And we are going to start the month off out with The Sunlet Man by Brandon Sanderson. I don't really know too much about this book. I've done a pretty good job staying away from spoilers and everything. I know the basic premise of the sun comes to the planet very, very slowly, but you can't be in the sun, and so you kind of have to stay just ahead of the sunlight or something like that. But the exciting thing about this book is this will be the last book I need to read in the Cosmere. I know this is also the most recently published one, but when I finish this, I will have completed my goal of finishing all of the Cosmere in this year, the year of 2023, completing my year of Sanderson. And it's been quite the journey. I'm not 100% done with Yumi and the Nightmare Painter just yet. That's one of the things I want to finish before I do my wrap up, but I'm very, very close to that being finished. But yeah, then all I have is this, and then I'll have to wait until Sanderson comes out with something new in the Cosmere. And I don't know when that will be. It must be the next Stormlight book, which is a year away. I think December, early December, it's supposed to come out. So it is definitely going to be an adjustment to not just have a bunch of Sanderson to get to. It's been quite the journey, and I am very excited to finally be wrapping up my journey with the Cosmere and being caught up with everything. I have already, taken the dive into all of the lore and trying to understand all the references and all the crazy theories that are out there for the Cosmere in general. So that's been exciting, but the Sunlet Man will be my last forte for a little while. So that is the first thing up. After that, I am going to go ahead and get a little bit into the Christmas spirit, and I will be reading The Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman by Patricia Meredith. I got that on the Kindle for a couple bucks, and I actually saw a Tori read this book already. I guess she had an arc of it or something, and it just seemed like a fun book. I think it's kind of like a murder mystery kind of thing. I actually don't know too much about it other than that video, and I think it's really short, so that's another thing. I try to keep December pretty light because I normally don't read a whole lot in December, so I'm hoping that if I keep it light between a few of my selections, that it will keep me energized moving into next year, and also just kind of not put any pressure on me to read. Like I said, December is a busy month, and I want to keep it light and exciting, but Death of a Christmas Tree Salesman just sounded something like it would be something, to get me into the Christmas spirit a little bit, so that will always be nice. And speaking of the Christmas spirit, we have to talk about my planned read that I will read right around either December Day, that I will read on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, right around there, and that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. This is a book that I think everybody should read. I think it's definitely worth it. I think it's a great way to get into the Christmas spirit and, just maybe teach you a little bit of a life lesson. I know in today's world, it's very easy to only worry about yourself. Things are difficult for a lot of people. It's not easy in today's world, but it just can help you have a little bit of humility and, want to spend time with people who care about you, not be a Scrooge, and maybe give a little bit to those if you can. Obviously, not everyone has that ability, and, that's unfortunate. But this is a great Christmas story. It has stood the test of time for many, including myself. So I try to read this every year. This is one of the books I actually do reread because I don't really reread a whole lot of books. But with how short this is, and just I don't know, I really find it to be a powerful message, especially in the Christmas season. Speaking of keeping it light, I have a novella up, and I think I want to go ahead and jump into the phenomenon that is happening right now with Ryan Cahill. I'm going to go ahead and read The Fall, which you can get for free if you sign up for his newsletter. So I have that. I signed up to his newsletter a little while ago. I also have the second and third book already. They were on sale or something for like a couple bucks, but not the first one. So I don't have the first full-length novel just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and read The Fall. I don't really know too much about this series other than it's a Dragon Rider fantasy, which, I mean, if we're fantasy fans, who doesn't love dragons? I think it'll be an absolute blast. And, just getting my feet wet with it, with The Fall, I think is the right way to do it, especially, like I said, December, want to keep it light, don't want to put too much onto my plate to read. So yeah, the fall will be something. And I will also continue my journey with Janny WS and the War Host of Vastmark. I have read a little bit of it. I am on page 40, so I've read a little bit, not too much. This book has definitely started out with a bang compared to some of the previous stories. If you have not read this series, I highly recommend that you go ahead and pick up the first book, The Curse of the Miss Wraith. It's definitely different. The prose in particular is very different than anything I have read. I find it a little bit challenging. I do read very slowly when I read it. I mean, I read slowly in general when I read a physical book, but I find the prose to be challenging, but the story is phenomenal. This seems to be epic, like true epic fantasy. I mean, I think that word gets thrown around a lot, but I don't think there are too many truly epic fantasies going on right now. And with the last book in this series coming out sometime in 2024, I definitely want to put more of an effort into reading the series. It's been really good. The second book really blew me away. The ending of it was just fantastic. And it's a very slow plotting story, and I don't always appreciate that, but the way Janny WS is able to do it in the series is just great. So I have really enjoyed it so far and looking forward to getting more into it. And that's not a whole lot for me to read this month. I guess Janny WS, that is a longer book, but I have a lot of maybes because I just kind of want to leave this month up to, outside of those ones that I've already talked about, up to kind of more of what I'm feeling, if I'm in the mood for anything. One of those options is going to be the Return of Edan by Philip Chase. I do want to get around to this. If I don't start it in December, it'll definitely be one I get around to probably in January. This is the last book in his trilogy. I liked the first one. I gave it 3 stars, which means I thought it was good. I liked it. It didn't really blow me away or anything. The second book I gave a 4-star rating, which I thought is really good. I thought it was a huge step up from the first book. Really enjoyed that one, and so I'm hoping for more of the same in this book. I think there's going to be a lot of introspection and stuff like that in this book, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think what he has done with the characters and the arcs they're going on, it can be very interesting, and there are definitely some plot threads I am really interested in seeing. So yeah, if you haven't looked into that trilogy at all, maybe consider that as well. And then just a couple other maybes that I have. I have Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar. This has been kind of a self-published darling for a little while. I saw the Kickstarter for it, and I really want to buy the book, but it's hard for me to justify spending $75 on a book that I haven't read yet. And it's like, well, you could just buy it and read it when it comes and everything, but I feel like a lot of times those special edition books are more for on your shelf and just kind of like flipping through and not really reading in. And so I'm considering maybe getting to that. I don't think it's overly long, so I might be able to sneak that one in there. Another option is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. I've had this Empire of Silence on my list for a super, super long time, and it's just kind of one of those series that I do this thing where I know I will really like a book. I know I'm really going to enjoy a series or something, and so I push it off. I'm like, I need to save it and wait for it and almost make it more difficult for myself to read it for some reason. I don't know why I do that, but it's almost like when I know I need something really good, there are some books and series that I think I'm going to really enjoy, and I can go to them. And that's kind of what I've been doing with Empire of Silence, or The Sun Eater, as it's also known. But that is another one that I might want to get to. It is a little bit longer, so maybe not. And let's see, what else did I put down? Oh, The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. This is a trilogy book. I've heard that it is really crazy, different not sci-fi. Well, I think I've kind of heard it called sci-fantasy, but it is a fantasy trilogy. I really love the covers, and people like Elliot Brooks and Patrick Leo have both really talked super highly about it, and it's just one that I have wanted to get to for a super long time, and maybe December will be the month it happens. And the last one I have considered it's called Dark Theory by Wick Welker. And this is a book that has been on my list for a really long time. It's a sci-fi book, and I actually kind of forget what it's about. I just remember it being on my list, and it sounded really interesting. I think this is the one that has maybe a robot sidekick kind of thing going on, and so that might be another one. Sci-fi for me sometimes is just a good standalone kind of thing that you can pick up and get through pretty quickly. But in general, that is my reading plans. Once again, a lot of those are maybes, so don't expect me to read those. Just those first couple I mentioned beforehand are ones that I'm really planning on getting to. But let me know what your reading plans are for the month of December in the comments down below. And as always, have a good one.